What's up guys, it's Average Joel making average content for the average viewer. Right, so we are 3 weeks into the life cycle of this game and I'll be honest with you, god damn is this game hard. To me at least. In the past I have probably been a bit above average in terms of Call of Duty, but right now in this game I feel like every single match is a bloody struggle. Now it would be easy to just get frustrated with the game and blame every death on camping, lag or 725s, but in reality I think there are many ways that we can counter these and as a result perform much better. So here are my 5 tips on how to die less and how to improve at Modern Warfare. Before we go on, the support from you guys has been great over the past few weeks, so I want to thank you a lot for that, and I want to see if we can hit 40 likes on this video. Also, if you're new here, then why not subscribe? So let's talk about it. Number 1, awareness. Over the past few years, Call of Duty has been a much faster paced, movement based shooter. Even with Black Ops 4, which was meant to be a proper return to boots on the ground, it still had very fast paced movement mechanics, and your specialists seemed to have trousers made of pure butter and lard so you could slide for an eternity. But as well as this, the game before didn't rely so heavily on sound. In Modern Warfare, sound is a massive part of your situational awareness, so if you're running around not paying attention to what you can hear, chances are the enemy has already heard you coming from a mile away and they are pre-aiming the corner about to make your day that little bit worse. So as hard as it may be for some of you guys, the best thing you can do to avoid these kinds of deaths is to take your time and try and be more aware of the sounds you can hear around you. That way, you'll be able to use this information and try to pick out targets that you can't yet see, thus dying less and hopefully relieving some of that tension and anger building up from deep inside your soul. Number 2, stick with one weapon. For me, I have always felt that in video games, particularly shooters, I would much rather be working towards something. Whether that be a new gun, an attachment or a camo, I just feel like my time is being better spent working toward a goal. The issue I have found with this in Modern Warfare is that when I'm switching out my guns so often, I am not giving my brain a chance to get used to the individual recoil patterns and gameplay styles of each weapon. What this means is that I am losing a lot of gunfights at different ranges because my opponents are obviously much more used to and comfortable with the weapon that they are using, so I'm putting myself at a major disadvantage. On top of this, because there are so many different attachments for every gun, you need to give yourself the time to experiment with all of the different gun builds until you find the one that works best for how you play. For example, I got the MP5 gold and then straight away switched to the AUG to try and work on that one to get that one gold too. But because I kept dying and losing ranged gunfights, I thought I'd try the Kilo out, but still kept underperforming and getting myself to a point where I was more wound up than if I was stood behind an old person in Subway. How hard is it to grasp that the salad is free, Mildred? For fuck's sake, just let me get my BMT. Now these guns are both good options, however because I was switching between them too often, I couldn't find a place where I felt comfortable using either of them. So I decided to give the camo grind a rest and go back to the MP5, and I have to say I've been having a lot more fun and much more success. Number 3, game modes. Now this one might be a bit subjective, but I'll roll with it because it's definitely true from my experience. If I play TDM, then I find that a lot of the time I'm trying to work out where the enemies are. The spawns are a lot more random and most of my deaths are coming from angles that I assumed were clear because my teammates are in that direction. So I have found that switching to objective game modes like Domination or Hardpoint are great because if you have a flag, then it is much more likely that the enemy is going to be in front of that flag or nearer to their own. Similarly, if your whole team is approaching the hard point from the south, then 9 times out of 10 it's a safe bet that the enemy are in the north. In addition to this, with game modes like Hardpoint, it's much easier to pull off a flank whereby you go right around the edge of the map and you can be sure that the enemy isn't behind you and making it a lot less likely that you'll be caught with your pants down and your old chap in your hand. Number 4, settings. Now for this one, what I want you to do is go into your bathroom and stare into the mirror. Whilst looking yourself deep in the eye, I want you to repeat this to yourself. I will not fuck with my sensitivity. Now do this 4 or 5 times every morning and every night. The thing is, sensitivity is so extremely subjective. I genuinely saw a tips video the other day that said you won't perform well if your sensitivity is below 10. So, what does this make you do? Well, it makes loads of people whack their sensitivity way up, and then after an hour of playing they have to stop and throw up because it's given them motion sickness. Now, I appreciate that a lot of good players use higher sensitivities, but the thing is, they aren't skilled because they have high sensitivity. They have their sensitivity high because they already have the skills to use it like that. Like what I said about sticking to one gun. If you're constantly changing your sensitivity, then you're not going to develop the muscle memory you need to be able to consistently snap onto targets, and then you're going to get pissed off and die a lot. Whilst we're on the subject of settings, I would also recommend turning anything off that changes the picture on your screen. The motion blur, the film grain, anything like that is going to hinder your ability to pick out targets, and if you can't see them, guess what? You have no hope of killing them and you become another easy kill for them. Number 5. Know when to rush. So I've made a couple videos on rushing so far, and for both of them I have said that you can rush in Modern Warfare, but you have to be more tactical with it. At the beginning of a match, I have found that it's a good idea to push up on the edges of the map as quickly as possible. This means that the enemy won't be expecting you and you might be able to get a few easy kills right off the bat. Now, in my experience, Call of Duty is as much about headspace as it is about skill. If you get killed right off the bat 3 times in a row, then most of the time this is going to negatively affect your frame of mind and you'll have a bad rest of the match. Equally, if you're off to a flying start, then you're more likely to continue this, but what I see a lot of people doing is getting 3 quick kills and then continue to run around like a blue ass fly and getting killed by someone camping around a corner. If you have 4 or 5 kills without dying, you are so much better off slowing down and playing for your streaks. Once you get close to these streaks, if you play a little bit more passively, and I don't mean camp, then you are less likely to make mistakes that get you killed, and you'll be able to get that sweet chopper gunner, and then with 10 extra kills on the scoreboard, dying a couple of times won't make you as angry. Anyway, that's it for my 5 tips on how to die less and how to improve at Modern Warfare. I hope you found some of these useful. I'd love it if you'd let me know down below some of the things you'd like me to cover on this channel. I've been really enjoying making these videos for you, but it would be awesome if I knew that I was making content that people actually want to see. Now, as you know, I like to see who watches these videos to the end, so today I want you to write the name of a song but change one word for minge. An example of this would be Do I Wanna Minge by the Arctic Monkeys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Average Ol. Peace.